my theory as to why I think the band Tool are foreshadowing impending chaos. On that album is called Tempest, and Tempest is a violent and windy storm. We all know that Tool are occultists.
I had the spiritual encounter with the Guardians, and the Guardians are watching over, but they're all facing the same direction.
You think all this can last? There's a storm coming, Mr. Wayne.
They toured that album late 2019 and 2020, and they came to Australia in February of 2020, finished their tour 1 month before lockdowns began.
You and your friends better batten down the hatches, because when it hits...
The rainbow snake was chased out to the ocean. Just remember that the rainbow snake has to return.
They chose to title the track Tempest. Instead of the letter T, they chose the number 7. So you can see it written like this. And Tempest is most associated to the planet Neptune. Neptune being Poseidon, king of the seas, a violent and windy storm. But if we put the number 7 instead of the letter T for Tempest, we have Saturn, 7, and Tempest, Neptune. Early December this year, Tool are returning to a tour through Australia. And in February of 2026, there is a Saturn-Neptune conjunction.
From what I've experienced it and what I've been told, it's got to come back. And when it does come back, it's coming from the ocean. And all the Guardians are on alert. They're all watching out, and they're all facing the same direction. From the far north Queensland, from the top, all the way down.
That song in full and listen to the lyrics and what it suggests.
Stock exchange. There's no money you can steal.
Really? And why are you people here?
It's not our money, it's everybody's. Really?
This one's a good line. Trying to lull us in before havoc begins. It's a dubious state of serenity.
Acting all surprised when you're caught in the lie. We know better. It's not unlike you.
Acting all surprised when you're caught in the lie. So that, I almost think that's like a bit of a forewarning, but you can see that's where we're at.
Misleading, tranquility rules. You're gonna happen again. That's what I think. Follow the evidence.
Gonna happen again. That's what I think. Follow the evidence. So again, saying you're going to happen again. So it means this has happened before. It's cyclic. And this is really cool. I like it. It's so well written. Control your delusion. Insane and striking at random. So
Control your delusion. And striking at random.
Alright, g'day. I was going to do just a short video for Instagram, but fuck man, I just watched the Luke Bell video on Instagram, and he spoke about Tool being used for foreshadowing, and that they last toured in Australia in 2019, a month before the lockdowns, and now I think he said they're heading to Australia in December this year. And then Luke has spoke about this astrological alignment.
Let me give you my theory as to why I think the band Tool are foreshadowing impending chaos. In 2019, they released their last album, Fear Inoculum, to inoculate fear. If you take the logo of Tool on that album and fold it in half, you literally have a golden syringe. Now, they toured that album late 2019 and 2020, and they came to Australia in February of 2020, finished their tour 1 month before lockdowns began. So let's bring this into now. One of the last songs on that album is called Tempest. And Tempest is a violent and windy storm. We all know that Tool are occultists. They sing about occult ideas, self-transformation and self-actualization through their songs, and they use occult symbolism in a lot of their artwork and logos. They chose to title the track Tempest. Instead of the letter T, they chose the number 7. So you can see it written like this. Now, 7 is connected to the planet Saturn, and Tempest is most associated to the planet Neptune. Neptune being Poseidon, king of the seas, a violent and windy storm. But if we put the number 7 instead of the letter T for Tempest, we have Saturn, 7, and Tempest, Neptune. Saturn and Neptune. Now, early December this year, Tool are returning to a tour through Australia. And in February of 2026, there is a Saturn-Neptune conjunction. What I encourage you to do is go and listen to that song in full and listen to the lyrics and what it suggests. And why I think as an astrologer, that upcoming tour and that track Tempest is foreshadowing what we can expect of 2026. Now, that's just a theory of mine, and I might be a crazy bald astrologer on the internet. Time will tell.
Even try and attempt with the astrology, but the reason I'm talking about it is it's fucking matched up, because he said the Tempest, which is this song by Tool, and he's right, Tool is an occult group. They're a fucking amazing band, but anyway, and that's a whole different other story. We can talk about how that plays itself out in a band or in other parts, but anyway. After I knew there was something to, like, when Cindy was talking the other week, and I kind of got a bit of chills. I went back and listened to it, and Luke's talk with Tempest meaning a violent and windy storm, or just a violent storm, right? And Luke's saying about, could this be foreshadowing something, particularly with this astrological alignment next year? Now, no one can doubt. And even if, you don't want to play into doom and gloom and all that stuff, but no one can doubt that there's, something brewing, and it's been brewing for a fucking long time, right? And there needs to be something that snaps into this next stage. And we've kind of been hovering around for a few years. Obviously, lots of stuff building under the surface, but there hasn't been that big thing. And I'm not even going to pretend to know what it is.
You think all this can last? There's a storm coming, Mr. Wayne. You and your friends better batten down the hatches, because when it hits, you're all gonna wonder how you ever thought you could live so long.
It is, but Cindy spoke, and she spoke about, this fucking tripped me out. Cindy spoke, and she was talking about the guardians, which are like crocodiles. These spirits that are all up the east coast of Australia. And she said that she connected with them, she had a spiritual experience. But then she spoke about, she said there was a serpent in the stories from the area that I'm in now, and the serpent went out to the ocean, but the serpent is going to return. And there's I don't know the story, and I don't want to butcher it, so that's for her to tell, or the people in this area, because I don't know it. But basically the gist of it, she said there was there's some war or fight with, I think she said, the goanna and the serpent. And I'm like, okay, but she said this, but the serpent will return back from the ocean.
Up the coast, from a certain point, everybody has a crocodile. They have the saltwater crocodile dreaming and story. It's even in Bundjalung country, because if you ever been to Black Rock, that's where it starts. There's a story there. So, and all the guardians, as you travel up the coastline, right, because our creation, anyways, that's another story in itself. But as you travel all the way, which I've met many tribes, and I've traveled all the way up to the top, and I've met a lot of people along my journey, and we've shared a lot of stories, and when we were, so I had a spiritual encounter when I went to Yarrabah. And that is when I learnt about there was a whale dreaming, and because of it was just
Where's
that was at Yarrabah.
Where's Yarrabah?
Far North Queensland.
Alright.
Anyways, and it was really, so I had a spiritual encounter at Yarrabah, and then as I went further up the coastline and everything like that, it was just beautiful. But I had the spiritual encounter with the guardians, and the guardians are watching over, but they're all facing the same direction.
So
From
they're all
the way,
facing out the Pacific Ocean, out east.
yes.
Yeah.
And I'm just letting you know that I've got this one little fly that is just go to Dale. Anyways, he's tormenting me.
No,
Go to Dale. Anyways, so the guardians are all facing out the east, out towards the ocean. I'm just letting you know that the guardians, when they shared with me spiritually, they said, watch the ocean. So whatever's coming is also coming from the ocean. So I just wanted to share that message with you to let you know that whatever's forthcoming.
From the east coast, you mean? The ocean?
It's coming from the water.
The
So
water.
it's coming from the east. So whatever's out there, and as you know that in Bunjalung country, in one of our stories is, the fight about the big, about the Didawong, and, the rainbow, the Yumba, the fight about the goanna, and, the rainbow snake. And the rainbow snake was chased out to the ocean. Just remember that the rainbow snake has to return. It's a part of the story. So the rainbow snake has to return. There will be the return of the rainbow snake.
So hang on, in the story that the snake or the serpent is chased out to the ocean.
So all the guardians.
And is that like a water spirit? And,
Yeah.
and was chased out by what? The goanna?
The Didawong, the great Namal spirit.
Which is that the goanna or a crocodile?
Yeah. No, the goanna.
The goanna.
So the great Didawong is the great spirit of the Namal, and the Namal is the goanna, and the great spirit of the goanna is the Didawong, and the Didawong, they fought and they pushed the rainbow snake out to the ocean, but the rainbow snake has to return.
It has to return.
So it's got to come back, and when it does come back, it's coming from the ocean. And all the guardians are on alert. They're all watching out, and they're all facing the same direction, from the far north Queensland, from the top all the way down, the east coast of Australia. I don't know further beyond my country if they have got that, but they're guardians. I don't know their stories, but I just know from what I've experienced and what I've been told. And I just wanted to share that. So whatever's coming is coming from the ocean.
Would there be a theme for ages, like with the watch the water thing from the Q post, and then also like the calm before the storm, and the storm is coming, all those kind of Q posts that became popular in I guess like the alternative kind of media realm, and even people that aren't into Q, they use this term like the storm all the time. It's become such like a lot of the Q lines and the Q quotes that have become such a big thing that people say them without even knowing that that's where they came from. But I mean, there was one recently with, anyway, sorry, before I get to that, the goanna right now. I didn't see a goanna today, but I was at the beach, and this was like bizarre because this was today. And I'm sitting there, and this fucking lizard just comes down like onto the beach. This never happens. It comes down all the way down onto the beach, right near where I'm sitting. I'm like, that's fucking weird. And he's just looking out to the ocean. And I'm like, well, this is like, that's why I went back and listened to Sydney. It's exactly what Sydney said, like this story of the goanna and the serpent in the ocean. Anyway, so the goanna, not the goanna, but the lizard comes up and he's just staring at the ocean. I'm looking at him, and as soon as I look at him, he just looks around. He's looking at me, and I've got a video, I'll play it. He's just staring straight at me. And as soon as I went to stop filming, he just went straight back in the bushes. And anyway, just before I'm about to, this is why I'll be doing this now. was just driving to the shop. There's a big fucking lizard just on this fence. And like, I mean, I don't see him that much. And I was just thinking about it. And just as I'm thinking about this goanna or this lizard story, I see one straight away. So this tells me there's something to it, just because of the levels of synchronicity that comes with that. But yeah, the other one, that's what I wanted to say. Trump had this, you could call it a comm, but he had an umbrella. This was recently, it was maybe a month or so ago, maybe a little bit more, but about a month ago. He's got onto Air Force One with this black umbrella. He's holding this umbrella, and it's not raining. And he doesn't hold his own umbrella. You don't when you're president, someone else does. But he's holding this umbrella, and it's not raining, right? So this was a big con. Something's brewing. I think Luke is exceptional in his intuition, and Luke matches it with his knowledge of astrology, which is like just one of these data points that that kind of syncs up with this. And it's just, this is why I love like things that you don't know where things are going. And I just like, after what Cindy said, and that was a bit that like what struck me when she told me that story. And she was telling me that the day before too, so she was really embedding like or wanting to tell this story, and she said that she wanted to share that, and I'm like, all right, whatever. I've heard that fucking from a million people. Watch the water, something's gonna come from the water. You're like, but you know, I think it's definitely showing itself. And this is like, I think when you're open to this stuff, you can see different patterns between different modalities or whatever. Like Luke mentioned this with astrology, and I'm gonna go through the song in a minute. I'm gonna go through the lyrics. Because they're pretty wild. I'm gonna go back and put this into a recording, and I'll go through the lyrics. But that matching with like Aboriginal stories is great. Like you can find these links anywhere. But yeah, I fucking think there's something to it. And whether the storm's coming, that it can be literal, it can be metaphorical, it could be both. Like, I don't know. Remember even the Dark Knight Rises, which I always tell people to watch. This is the best. It's one of the best movies.
There's a storm coming, Mr. Wayne.
Not just because it nails the hero's journey story, but it's just there's so many themes in that. And the lady Anne Hathaway, I think it is, that plays like Batman or Catwoman. She says like a storm's coming, and she says this at the start of the movie to Batman. And I mean, there's so many references in that movie to like Trump, and like even Christian Bale was living in Trump Tower, or they were filming in Trump Tower. Anyway, that's a whole other video, The Dark Knight Rises. But in The Dark Knight Rises, the main the crescendo of the movie at the end is nuclear bomb. There is a dirty nuke.
This is the instrument of your liberation.
Satellite shows a radiation spike.
Whatever it is, it's nuclear.
Identify yourself to the world.
Dr. Leonid Pavel, nuclear physicist.
Pavel was confirmed dead. Plane crash on an agency pull out of Uzbekistan, but it looks like it's him.
And what is this?
It's a fully primed neutron bomb with a blast radius of 6 miles.
And who is capable of disarming such a device?
Only me.
Only you. Thank you, good doctor. Now, this bomb is armed. This bomb is mobile, and the identity of the triggerman is a mystery. For one of you holds the detonator. Now we come here not as conquerors, but as liberators to return control of this city to the people. And at the first sign of interference from the outside world, or from those people attempting to flee, this anonymous Gothamite, this unsung hero, will trigger the bomb. And now martial law is in effect. Return to your homes. Hold your families close. And wait. Tomorrow you claim what is rightfully yours.
Hey, heads down! This is it! That's detonation. It's out over the bay. It's clear of the city.
In Gotham City is New York, the bridge gets attacked, bombed, so no one can get in or out. So there's a city lockdown due to infrastructure attack and the fact that there's a dirty nuke. And this is what I think that remember all the drones and shit that were going last year in the military, and the government wouldn't admit they didn't know what they were, and this is what I think they're looking for, a dirty nuke, and I think this is going to be part of it. But also, you know, there's a massive stock market collapse. The elites are put on trial, and this goes into what Jason was saying with the the whole Christian revival kind of stuff and that, and the people were going to want like vengeance against these, these economic hitmen and stuff like that have been bleeding off the people. Trump actually did the exact same speech as Bane in that movie too, and that movie came out. Oh wait, when did Trump do the speech? 2016. I think the movie came out before that.
But we are transferring power from Washington, D.C., and giving it back to you, the people.
And we give it back to you, the people.
A small group in our nation's capital
Are corrupt.
has reaped the rewards of government,
The rich.
while the people have borne the cost.
The oppressors of generations who have kept you down with myths of opportunity.
Foreshadowed Trump's talk and what he said there. Because he says like something like, we're giving it back to you, the people. But I mean, there's so many themes in there. Everything from the mask, they'll talk, but the infrastructure attack. And this is what Candace Owens came onto. I don't know, a lot of people don't like her, but she came onto this a while ago with looking into the Charlie Kirk stuff, that she found that a lot of the people that were being interviewed after the shooting were working for this military contractor that were, well, they were selling valves, and they sell valves to the military. And these valves were used for bridges and water piping and all different kinds of infrastructure.
Yesterday, I pretty casually mentioned to you guys something, that the doorbell cam footage, which TMZ happened upon somehow, was from a street upon which a ton of employees that work for Caldera Engineering live. We showed you, I think, one or two of those employees, the husband and wife I had mentioned worked for Caldera Engineering, and it is a country that purports to manufacture valves. And I said this, I said, I know nothing about the valve industry. All I know is that every time I start investigating a government conspiracy or looking into people that are really shady, like Harley Pasternak, thus far 3 people who I've investigated who oddly, either them or their families had backgrounds working in this very niche valve and piping industry, like manufacturers of valves and pipes. I'm like, is everybody doing that? This is very strange. Well, many of you emailed me something that was quite surprising. Maybe I'm just ignorant, but you let me know that this is a very niche industry. And by niche, I mean that you asserted that it implies major government contracts, likely the CIA. Those of you who have worked at those industries telling me that there are even certain valves that are exclusively manufactured in Israel, and that they tend to be involved in this. The government and the military tend to be involved in this. And that even, by the way, on Caldera's website, they noted that they have worked in Israel. They have a map that they note every country that they have done engineering projects in. And one of them, or 2 dots, are in Israel. And somebody explained why the government gets involved when it comes to valves and piping. And I'm just going to read you this email because maybe there are people at home who are just as ignorant as I am about government level engineering. Okay. This person wrote, "Hi, Candace. I wanted to share some detailed information regarding valves, piping, and their relevance to critical infrastructure and intelligence communities. Valves as critical infrastructure assets. Modern industrial valves are used in pipelines, water treatment plants, power plants, and chemical facilities, are often automated and networked, forming part of operational technology and SCADA systems. This allows remote monitoring and control of the flow of gas, oil, water, and chemicals. Cybersecurity implications. These valves are part of systems that could be targeted for cyber attacks. Compromised valves can cause pipeline ruptures, water contamination, or industrial accidents.
Mike Burgess, who I'm going to do another video on. Thanks to Donovan sent me. He did a talk at the Lowy Institute, founded by Frank Lowy, the guy who owned the Twin Towers, along with Larry Silverstein. He was at the Lowy Institute giving a talk on. It's unbelievable. I'll actually leave it under here. People should watch it. It goes for about an hour. And he's talking about all the different national security threats to Australia, and he wouldn't name any nation states, and the guy kept asking him, like, but he named one. He named Iran. But I saw just today he's actually named China, and he's talking again about infrastructure attacks in Australia being a major threat.
ASIO has decided to return Australia's national terrorism threat level from possible to probable.
Australia's top spy chief has revealed Chinese hackers could inflict high-impact sabotage on some of our most critical infrastructure. Mike Burgess sounded the alarm while addressing a business forum yesterday, urging industry leaders to harden their systems and protect their sensitive data. ASIO is bracing for major disruption.
So putting all this together, we're looking at all these different things, right? But that fits in. That's what happened in the Batman movie. There was infrastructure attacks on the bridge, the electricity grid, all the piping. They took out like the sports stadium, all these kind of things. And there's a dirty nuke in the city. So yeah, there's so much more. I could say so much more. I don't want this video to go too long. But yeah, the Mike Burgess one was very interesting. He spoke a lot about the rise of neo-Nazis and all these kind of groups, and gave the different levels of, all this fucking bullshit coming from ASIO. So yeah, but I find it very interesting that what Cindy said matched what Luke said. So I just want to thank Luke for pointing that out today too. And I'll send that lizard video to Cindy and see what she says. And I'll say, is this a message? Because synchronistically it was wild. Alright, so we're just going to look at a bit closer at the lyrics here of Tempest, which Luke pointed out too, that it's spelled, the T's not a T, it's a 7. So that's interesting. I think I'll leave that to him. But obviously, I just thought, alright, I've heard it before. It's like, it's the Shakespeare play. So, and the famous line from the Shakespeare play, well, it says like the theme of the Tempest movie play, which I've never seen. The only Shakespeare I ever did was we had to pick one Shakespeare play at school, and I picked Titus Andronicus, which was that was the worst worst thing to ever look into. It was horrible. Anyway, so it was freedom, empathy, forgiveness, nature versus nurture. Keep that in mind. And the famous line from the Tempest play is "Oh brave new world," right? Now, this is kind of like, again, like what Luke was saying, there's I put in there that, you know, whether there's like an actual storm, because Tempest means storm, or it's a metaphorical storm, and I kind of think it's more metaphorical. But a storm of what? And so if you, even within this, and this is interesting that Luke mentioned that it's a Neptune-Saturn conjunction, because Tempest comes from, so this is the word, from the noun, Middle English Tempest, borrowed from Anglo-French, going back to Vulgar Latin, tempesta, replacing the Latin, meaning a stretch of time, period, season, weather, stormy weather. And obviously that comes from like tempo. But again, what do we got? Time and Saturn. And as we'll get into the song, you'll see that it's about something that can't be stopped. Almost it's like blueprinted within time itself, right? It's something that's cyclic. On the Shakespeare play too, so it says, the play is about a shipwreck or a spectacle that Ariel performed. Prospero may even refer to the Globe Theatre when he describes the whole world as an illusion. The great globe shall dissolve like the unsubstantial pageant. All right, interesting. I don't know much about the play, but anyone that does, maybe they could fill me in. But let's get into the lyrics. Very quickly. I'm sure like people get a lot more different things out of this than myself, and I guess that's always the way that people interpret music and lyrics. It really is up to the individual, and I don't ever want to say that like Tool has intentionally put these in to specify something, although they very much could have through like predictive programming. We don't know, but a lot of it I think is just in the field, and it's just the way that the universe works, and it sometimes presents itself through some of these bands. Who knows, but it's fucking super interesting, especially after what Luke said. And if we're looking at the Tempest as something that comes kind of abruptly and like it's this mega storm, metaphorical or literal, I'd say probably more metaphorical, then it's very fitting and very damning, this song. And the way that it's written, it's quite beautiful, because you hear this like, it's almost like this this beat that goes the whole way through, kind of telling you that something's hidden, it's in the background, everyone can kind of feel it. And as the verses go through, each verse that comes, it's like you're getting a little bit more information, but it's kind of saying that the intuition's growing stronger, that this kind of thing that is occurring within our own life and collectively can't last, and there's going to have to be like some big snap that changes it. That's kind of the way I'm interpreting this song. But then by the end of the song, you get this, because it starts with like this slow build up even before the intro, and then by the end of the song, it's kind of like the Tempest has not even hit whatever they're speaking about in these lyrics. It's like it's never there. You don't get this huge breakout in the lyrics or even the music that it's there. That's kind of how I feel about it, and it kind of just ends. It's like one of those movies that doesn't have like a good ending. It just kind of just ends, and that's telling me, I think, that like, and I haven't listened to the rest of the album, maybe it comes later in the album, but it's telling me that like that thing is coming. But it's almost like the song's like a forewarning. And I'm sure there's a lot of unconscious and subliminal stuff in here too, but if we just go through the lyrics real quickly, I'll just pick up a couple of little points. It says keep calm, and it repeats that over and over again. And then it's before it kicks in with before the first verse, it says fuck, here we go again. So So fuck, almost like that's telling me there's an element of surprise there, and like fuck, like something's just happened, here we go again. But the important word there is again. So telling me cyclic, and we're looking at what Luke said with the Saturn and Neptune conjunction. Saturn is old father time. It's all to do with time and time cycles. So it says here we go again. So whatever's happening or whatever's coming is not something new. It's a repeated cycle. I really get that as an important point. So then we goes into the first verse, and again, like if you look at these, there's verses, and then there's like a break of an instrumental, and then like a build up of the song. But the first two verses pretty much go hand in hand without much of a break. It says the first verse says heat, lightning, flash, but don't blink. So it says that like something's coming, but like if you like, it's going to be so quick and abrupt, or maybe even the intuition of like something that you might see beforehand. If you're not aware, you're gonna miss it. Misleading, tranquility, ruse. I find this is really interesting. So it's like ruse is kind of like it means like deception. So misleading, tranquility, ruse. I find that's like a cool line, because fuck, it just describes perfectly like the state that we're living in now. And so many people are, I guess, just in mainstream society under this hypnotic tranquility, you could say, but it's kind of a deception that's being broken down in front of their eyes at the moment for those who can see. You're gonna happen again. That's what I think. Follow the evidence.
Misleading, tranquility rules, you're gonna happen again, that's what I think. Follow the evidence.
Saying you're gonna happen again, so it means this has happened before. It's cyclic. That's what I think. Follow the evidence. And follow the evidence is saying for those that are there to see, all the signs are there. If you're looking at the economy, geopolitical, states of people's health, culturally, all these different things, they're breaking down. There's something that needs to happen abruptly and quickly that needs to shake things up. And the reason why we have collective events, I think too, whether this is built into reality itself, which I think it is, and we're talking again, we're talking about time cycles, the human being symbiotic with the earth. If we're experiencing different cycles in time and increasing time acceleration, I should say, if that's happening, time is really just movement. That's all it is. So if we're looking at different movement and even like planetary movement or whatever, I'm like, oh, fucking flat earther. But that's telling me that the atoms within our body and how we actually perceive reality is moving quicker as well. So like with the whole COVID thing, like when that happened, that was a challenge to people's sovereignty. And because you can go through those things individually, but when they happen collectively, it's an opportunity for everyone to go through that. And what it was dealing with sovereignty of the body. That was like that one. And the next one, like when you're looking at like the economy, infrastructure breakdowns and stuff like that, all to do with security. So if you're going through a collective event that's going to deal with security, eventually it's going to bring people back to what is the real security, which is like internal security, family, friends, all these kind of things that are really important. So like these events are actually like good things. That's why I think the final thing is to do with spirituality and religion, because like when you're about to die, what do people do? They turn to God, they turn to what's going to happen in the afterlife out of fear. So it tells me there needs to be a collective worldwide event in which everyone thinks that this is the end, because then you get over that fear of death and you can insert something else. But we go back to the lyrics. It says, follow the evidence, look it dead in the eye, you are darkness. I don't know what it means by that. People can get that, or they will. This one's a good line. Trying to lull us in before havoc begins. It's a dubious state of serenity. Acting all surprised when you're caught in the lie.
Looking dead in the eye, your darkness, trying to lull us in before the havoc begins into a dubious state of serenity. Acting all surprised when you're caught in the lie. We know better. It's not unlike you.
I almost think that's like a bit of a forewarning, but you can see that's where we're at. Like absolutely, that like that's how it will play out. Acting surprised when you're caught in the lie. And again, there's something abrupt needs to make this happen, needs to make this pop and like move on to the next level understanding, at least as a collective. We know better. It's not unlike you. It's not unlike you. we know your nature. So saying that it's not unlike you is this thing that's coming in is doing exactly what it's meant to be doing. Almost the system itself is doing exactly what it's meant to be doing. And yeah, like even Mark Passio talks about like you can judge human freedom on the state of human morality. So where you look at where human morality is, that is completely congruent with the state of human freedom. And we could all admit now that we're not free. And I would say a lot of that can be measured by the state of morality and what we put precedence over. Although that is changing, but this like for the collective, something needs to happen. So then you have quite a big break before it go. Oh no, that's verse 1. Then verse 2, there's just a small instrumental. Then he says, "Blame it on the bastards when you're blowing out. Shame on you, shame on you. No amount of wind could begin to cover up your petulant stench and demeanor."
Blame it all on the bastards when you're blowing out. Shame on you now. No amount of wind could begin to cover up your petulant stench and demeanor.
There's no band-aid solution for what is coming. Like no amount of wind could cover you up. It needs like an abrupt storm, a tempest to change this, right? And then shame on you, shame on you. So it's almost like saying that there's something karmic as well too about how we have allowed this, the state of human existence where it is at the moment and how it's been over a long time, how we've allowed that to happen. And we're all collectively and individually responsible for the current state of where things are, which is fine, but that's what it's saying. That's what I think. Calm as cookies and cream, so it seems. We're not buying your dubious state of serenity. So I guess I'm thinking that some are saying like some can see this, unless the lyrics actually coming, if that's from the voice of the Tempest, I don't know. Acting all surprised when you're caught in the lie. We know better. It's not unlike you. It's not unlike you. We know your nature.
Acting all surprised when you're caught in the lie. We know better. It's not unlike you.
You have a big instrumental, goes for multiple minutes, and that's why. And I love the way the song's written, because you get these like really intense verses that like is telling you about like the Tempest is coming, and almost the reason why it's coming. It's giving like the state of things that have occurred for why this needs to take place, and saying that it's fixed, it's coming. And you get all that time to like think about it while the instrumental's coming, and then you get this guitar and drum that goes in sync together. It's like drrr, drrr. Telling us that it's a build-up. Again, saying like the intuition saying, yeah, there's something coming. We can't quite put what it is. And then you get this bridge bit and it says calm, and it's almost like hypnotic, like calm before the torrent comes. It's like this chant. And the way that's written, it's almost like the chant is like bringing it in, but it's telling me that the way that he sings it, it's like hypnotic. So telling me, I guess, like the state of humanity. It's in this like kind of hypnotic spell with some of the lyrics that he said before, but it's like this calm before the torrent comes. That's like this bridge bit, which is like, it's really cool. And then he says, calm before the tempest comes to rain all over. So it says whatever's going to happen, whatever this tempest, this violent storm is, it will rain all over. So it's not going to be localized. It's not something that we're not going to have an economic collapse in Japan. We're not going to have like some terrorist attack in Europe or whatever it might be. It doesn't need to be things as dramatic as that, but I think it will be something dramatic. But it's saying will rain all over, right? So it's saying it will cover everything. And this like goes to what Jason's talking about, like with the seals and the horses. And the horse is something that, or a seal event is something that affects the entire human population. If we're talking about collective events that change and shift consciousness, it's something that affects everyone. So it says reign all over, so to dominate or to rule all over. Then you have another instrumental, then it goes into the third verse. Then it goes into the third verse, and I love this bit. Like this is such a cool the way he sings it, Maynard. It's really cool. He says, "Disputing intentions invites devastation. Disputing intentions invites devastation." So what do we got now? Like we've got a whole world of like so many people with different intentions. And they're all trying to like push and butt heads against each other. And every again, like when he says calm before the torrent comes, like that hypnosis that humanity seems to be under. But and this is how it's playing out. Disputing intentions invites devastation. So it's saying because, or again, almost karmic, because of the way things are, we have invited into us this collective event. And I remember George Cavazos saying years ago, he was talking, I think this interview was in 2011, I still remember it, and it was actually with Mark Passio, and he said, he was talking about doing the inner work and all that kind of stuff back then, and looking at the self and going through this process now, and he was saying, yeah, it's really hard, but he said those that don't do it now, those that don't choose to make this choice are going to have to go through these events collectively. And this is what's happening. The COVID was like the first big one, but this is saying there's something else coming. And those that have, just looked at themselves and reality and I guess tried to improve themselves and how they see things in their own relationships and whatever, they are going to be the ones that, the invited devastation that it's speaking about is because of the collective. So you can be in a position where you're not necessarily as impacted by that, or you're more equipped to handle these, whatever it might be that's coming, right? Than much of the others that are going to be playing on collective programs and the fear response that comes with that. So he said, then it says, a tempest must be true to its nature. A tempest must be just that, and it repeats that over and over again. Then another instrumental. So again, like you feel this, like it's building up, the song's building up, and again, it doesn't hit like a massive kind of crescendo, but it leaves us with the fourth verse, and this is really cool. I like it's so well written. Control your delusion, insane and striking at random. Time cycles and stuff, but then we don't really know. There's telling us there's a huge element of surprise here, and I've spoke before about what is fixed and finite and what is like the true soul expression, which is infinite, which can represent itself here in physical reality. And this is the whole free will and not free will thing. Like, is this destined? Is there elements of surprise within a confined system that is actually expressions of infinite within a confined system? But anyway, so insane and striking at random, telling us that something, it's going to be abrupt. No one's going to pick the time or what it might be. And I've had many attempts, as well of others over the years, of saying, oh, this is coming next. So that, like, we don't know. It's saying insane and striking at random. Victim of your certainty. Now, I spoke about that before. What is fixed? And therefore your doubt's not an option. Blame us, the tempest will be just that. So try as you may, feeble your attempt to atone, your words to erase, all the damage cannot. That's pretty cool. So try as you may, feeble your attempt to atone. So I think it's trying to say that this will be a lot of people that will be wanting atonement in this time, but it's going to be, the attempt to atone will be after the event has occurred. And then it just leaves us on that hypnotic thing at the end with the outro, and it says Tempest must be just that. A Tempest must be just that. So we can say like, be just what? So I guess it's telling us like the literal meaning of the Tempest, which is meaning the violent storm. It must. So telling us there with the word must, certainty. It is a certainty that this thing is coming. It's certainty that it's going to be a random and violent, as far, at least metaphorically. So I don't know, people can take their own interpretations of that. And I know when I listen to songs over time, I'll put them away for years or whatever, and I'll come back and it means so much more at a later date. But yeah, look, Tool's they're a great band. And Maynard's he's a great writer. Their lyrics are very thought-provoking and were many, many years before their time. And I've always found like, especially with these metal bands and stuff like that, they have like, they can have like these real meaningful lyrics, and a lot of the times it's lost because of the way it's sung and because it's covered by heavy music. You know, when you don't really listen to the lyrics, like that song, do 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 do, do. Like that song was about like shagging women and doing crystal meth, and it was like a pop song on TV. Actually, I just found out the other day because I'm learning tomorrow on guitar by Silverchair, and that was I've been thinking a lot about after Tom Barnett's course, how he was talking about like aspects of creativity and how you need to be like consistent and try and you know, like put in work to being more creative, but doing it for creative purposes. Anyway, so I'm learning tomorrow by Silverchair. And then I found out like that song is about someone getting a blowjob. Like that's what that song's about. I couldn't believe it. I said, someone told me this, and I'm like, no fucking way, no way. And I read the lyrics, and I'm like, oh my God. But anyway, I think this one's a bit more deeper than Silverchair tomorrow. So yeah, tell me what people think. But yeah, I look forward to hearing what Luke puts out there. I'm not sure if he's going to do an unpacking of the song. I think Luke's a bit of a metalhead. But yeah, really interested to hear what he says around the astrology. It'll be really cool. So anyway, I'll leave it at that. And oh yeah, the last one is, if you would like, we've got about 3 weeks until the Cosmic Consciousness conference, which I'll be speaking at, and I'll leave the link under here below if anyone would like to come see. I'm still working on my presentation, but it's I'm more looking forward just to going there and seeing all the other presenters and seeing what it's about, and obviously getting up to Mount Tambourine, which I think I did go there once as a kid actually, but yeah, it'll be cool. So if you're going to be there, I'll see you there.
This year, we have the most powerful lineup in the history of the Cosmic Consciousness Conference. Potent, dynamic and passionate facilitators. They're not here to perform. They're here to serve you, to expand your growth, to raise your consciousness. Between them, they have centuries of combined mastery. And together at Tambourine Mountain, they're one unified field. All to help raise the frequency of humanity. Light workers, we came here for this. The shift is accelerating. Revelation is peaking. What happens next is in our hands. If there's one thing you do this year to invest in yourself, let this be it.